They say the camera adds 10 pounds. Mine has an extra 0 tacked on. Hey kids, welcome back to the channel. I'm Uncle Frank, hoping that you are having a great day. And in today's video, we're going to sit back, relax, and have a conversation about Magic the Gathering. I did originally film a Flesh and Blood video today, but as I watched back the footage, I realized it was just 6 to 8 minutes of me just saying, I'm really excited about High Seas. And that statement is still true, but I figured that wouldn't be that interesting a video. So instead, here we are, and I've remembered that there was a product for Magic the Gathering that I kind of wanted to talk about for a while, especially with regards to its story, its history, where it went, what happened to it, and also gives me an excuse to film over here in a slightly different spot in the workshop and show you guys a bit of a different angle for what's going on in here. And over here is just the shelves where I put bulk stuff. A lot of bulk goes there, and a lot of the sealed stuff goes over here, including some Yu-Gi-Oh!, some Flesh and Blood, more decks, some odd stuff like these old Commander decks, and a lot of dead TCGs like Shaolin Showdown. I should talk about this at some point. Definitely going to talk about Hecatomb at some point. This is a special one. Got some Dot Hack Enemy down here. Really happy about this. The more I think about Dot Hack Enemy, the more I'm unsure if I actually like the card game or if I'm just such a sucker for Dot Hack stuff that I'll take what I can get. I'm undecided. But this video isn't about any of these. It's about this discontinued product line. Signature Spellbooks. Signature Spellbooks were released the product line started in 2018, if I'm correct, with the Signature Spellbook Jason, which was followed up the following year with Signature Spellbook Gideon, and then finally Signature Spellbook Chandra. And these were meant to be a nice flavorful follow-up to the From the Vault line, where a bunch of cards from across Magic's history were reprinted with a bit of a unique flair to them, a unique premium, not necessarily foiling, but border. These all have a unique border to them for all three of the sets. Jace has a special Mind Magey one. The Gideon one has a... I'm not sure what the flavor for the Gideon one was really supposed to invoke, but the Chandra one, of course, is fiery. They all have a special Bernie background, if you can... I wish I had some cards on me. As a follow-up product line to From the Vault, which was its own WPN exclusive product line that put some interesting reprints out there for players directly, From the Vault had a few different purposes. One, it was a nice little collectible at a affordable price. $20, I think, is a very affordable price tag for something that's intended to be a collectible, but it was also intended to, Wizards had a stated goal for this product line to put cards directly into decks rather than sliding them into binders. And how successful they were with that, I will leave up to you, but I just want to point out that with the exception of the Jace Signature Spellbook, both Gideon and Chandra are, or at least were for a long time, under MSRP. And while there were definitely playable cards in all of the products, I'm definitely going to say that none of them were like really must-haves, you know? So the other thing that this did was it really put a spotlight on some of Magic's most important characters for the lore at the time. Jace, Gideon, and Chandra, in case you aren't aware, are planeswalkers in the game's setting. They are characters that at the time of 2020, 2019, 2018, at the time, these were characters that Magic's story had been following for several years. Jace was introduced all the way back in Agents of Artifice. All of these kind of characters have been known about since. Jace and Chandra were part of the Lorwyn 5, so that was Lorwyn. And then Gideon was introduced in Zendikar block. I just dropped it. Zendikar block, I believe. It's fine if I drop that one. I have another one. See? I dropped that one. I have another one. I dropped that one. I have another one. Should I keep going? Should I keep to the bit? In all seriousness, as much as I like that joke, in all seriousness, this put a spotlight on some of Magic's characters for the story, because the story was focusing on the Gatewatch, which included Jace, Gideon, and Chandra, as well as, in terms of formative members, you'll notice that Jace is a blue character. Signature Spellbook Jace was a blue set featuring all blue cards. Signature Spellbook Gideon was a white character, and the product featured all white cards. Chandra was a primarily red character. This product is all red cards. That's a bit of a cycle, and Magic is fond of its cycles. So what happened to the final two colors of the Magic cycle, Liliana and Nissa? Black and green, you might ask. Well, in case it wasn't obvious, the Signature Spellbook product line did not sell all that well. By the time Chandra released in 2020, I believe it was 2020, by the time Chandra came out, it was not selling that well. The gimmick had kind of run its course. There weren't a lot of really must-have cards in here. There were some nostalgic cards, like there's a young Pyromancer in here. There's a Pyroblast in here. There's Chandra Torture Defiance, which was a pretty strong card for the Kaladesh block. 4 loyalty abilities for a Planeswalker. But yeah, by the time that this product came along, there was not a lot of excitement for it left. And you could find stores selling it for under MSRP. In fact, I acquired most of what I've got. I've got a bit. I've acquired these for, half MSRP. I acquired most of these for 10 to 12 bucks. Do these have a price tag on them? Surely one of these has a price tag on them. Oh, this one still has the $19.99 price tag. That's got to count, right? But there wasn't a lot of excitement for this stuff. And Wizards was noticing. And instead of finishing the cycle and potentially just releasing a bland product, they decided by the time 2021 rolled around, and it was time to finish the cycle for Signature Spellbooks, they decided to cancel them. No more Signature Spellbooks released. Instead, they decided to release 2 more products. The Commander Collections, green and black. And instead of being a spiritual successor to From the Vault, these were intended to be high-value targeted reprint sets that had the same package design. It's the same overall basic package look. Same number of cards, if I recall correctly. But instead of just being fun little reprints, little flavorful character nods, these were all cards intended to be slotted into Commander decks, and Wizards was really dialing it up with Commander at the time. So these had a premium price tag. They had some better cards in them, like Sylvan Library, Worldly Tutor was in the green one. Phyrexian Arena, which isn't actually that expensive now that I think about it, in the black one. The Flip Liliana Ophiomancer. Ophiomancer was in the Commander Collections black. They also both had their own special soul rings, which was nice. But yeah, this was a... grab one of these. This is a really good example of a failed product. Not necessarily a bad product, because I do believe that these are nice from a flavor perspective, from a collectibles perspective, and from a character spotlight perspective. I think these are a really nice product. I think, unfortunately, even at the $20 price tag, these were a bit undesired, and there were plenty of stores willing to dump these. Do I have a sealed thing of this somewhere? Oh, I think I do. Is this Signature Spellbook Chandra? You out of the way. Yeah! Yeah, that's Chandra. Oh, 6 coming here. So yeah, stores were willing to part with this for half MSRP or less, because there wasn't a lot of excitement. There wasn't a lot of player interest, especially after the first 2. By the time Chandra came along, there was basically nothing going for it. And that's kind of unfortunate because Wizards of the Coast themselves, they could have definitely done more to make the Signature Spellbook line successful. They could have put just a few better cards in it. I mean, look, we've got, yeah, there's the Chandra, which is a nice card, but Fiery Confluence, Rite of Flame, Pyromancer's Ascension, Cathartic Reunion. I feel like I could probably find like 3 or 4 better red cards to slot in here instead of some of these cards to make this worth at the very least $20. And I say worth $20 because Wizards, as you guys know, Wizards, they do keep an eye on the secondary market. Anyone who thinks they don't is fooling themselves. Just look at any secret layer, and you'd see that they are definitely priced with the secondary market in mind. So I definitely think just a bit more effort could have been done for these to make them worth player attention at the very least. But at the end of the day, I'm not here to talk about what could have been. I'm just here to talk about what was, and what was, in my opinion, a very interesting product line. Not a very successful one, but definitely interesting. It's kind of a shame that they didn't finish it with Nissa and Liliana so you could have a nice display lineup of these on your shelf. I always thought that was kind of a shame, especially looking back, knowing what the Commander collections could have been instead of what they were. And ultimately, I've got to say, these are just a nice little thing to have. And that's really all I've got for you kids today. Hope you enjoyed. Thank you so much for watching. Please like, share, and subscribe, and all that good jazz. And I'll see you guys in the next one. Ciao. I just realized they didn't put Fireball in the collection at all, and that's completely insane to me. Fireball is such an iconic piece of Magic's history. Lightning Bolt. They could have put so much in these, and they just didn't. Oh, well, it is what it is.